Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Yoga by Emily. Today's sequence is going to be a quick 13-minute class to do after you finished your karate class. We're going to loosen your hamstrings, your hips, and your lower back. Let's get started. Come to the top of your mat and feet parallel to each other. Inhale, bring your arms up above your head. Exhale, fold over, touch the ground. Grab your elbows and you can hang here. Make sure your knees are bent. Inhale, step your left foot all the way back into a runner's lunge. Bring your left knee to the ground and inhale all the way up. You can put your hands on your knee. I like to roll my neck, especially after karate. Just kind of shrug your shoulders down. Inhale and exhale. This is a really great stretch, especially if you've been doing a lot of kicks. That requires a lot of your hip flexors. And again, I like to roll my neck from side to side. You can shrug your shoulders, make any little movements that feel good here. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold over. Straighten your front leg. And we're going to do a little short hamstring stretch here. You can always inhale, straighten your back, and exhale, fold over your leg. That feels really good. And just keep going at your own pace. And bend into your front knee again. And grab your left ankle for a quad stretch. If you can't grab your ankle or your toes, you can always use a strap to grab hold of your left ankle. This is a really good quad stretch, and you can get into your hip flexors a little bit here too. And keep breathing and keep holding, and very carefully let that foot go down to the ground. And now we're just going to twist towards the right. In this stretch, you can really feel it in the outside of your hip. I really like to just come up like I'm trying to get back into my lunge and then sit my left hip back down to the ground until I find a really juicy spot on my hip that needs to stretch. And then I'll just kind of sit there and breathe for a while. And now come back up into your runner's lunge, but keep your left knee off the back floor. This is really good for your hip flexors. And come to the center, and we're going to do Skandasana. So bring your bottom to your right heel and keep your left leg straight. Try to lean back as far as you can while still keeping your right heel on the floor. I'm going to turn around, that way you guys can see what I'm doing from the other side. And switch to your left knee, bend your left knee, straighten your right knee, and take your bottom as close to your left ankle as you can while keeping your left heel on the floor. And switch into your left lunge. So straighten your right knee and put your right knee on the ground, and you can come up. Bring your hands up onto your left knee, especially if that feels good today. Notice how one side might be more tight than the other, especially in martial arts. We tend to focus on one side instead of balancing out both sides equally, especially in katas. So make sure that you are really not pushing too hard on one side versus the other. Go ahead and straighten your front leg. And again, you can inhale, straighten your spine, and exhale, fold over your leg. Remember to relieve the tension in your shoulders and your neck. And continue at your own pace, inhaling to straighten and exhaling to fold deeper. You can roll your wrists here and bend into your left knee again. Carefully bring your right heel, your right ankle up, and grab hold of it with your left hand. Pull in for a quad stretch. Try to keep your hips as low to the ground as you can. That way you're still stretching your hip flexors as well. And make sure you're breathing deep in through your nose and out through your nose. Very carefully let go of your ankle. And we're going to do that curling hip stretch on the other side. So take your right hip to the floor, keep your right leg straight, and come back up into your lunge. This is a really great stretch for your hips. So keep moving until you find a spot that needs stretching, and you can just kind of hang out there for a little bit and breathe some extra space into that part of your hip. Come back up into your left lunge, and we're gonna come back into downward facing dog. So take your left foot to meet your right. You can walk your heels a little bit, bend deeply into one knee and then the other. Make sure that your bottom is going towards the ceiling, and walk your feet to meet your hands at the top of your mat and hang a little bit. Take your right foot back, and we're going to be in a straddle position. And come back into that Skandasana to one side and then the other side. And back to the first side, bend that one knee, straighten the other leg, and bend into the other side. Back up into the middle position. Walk your feet in a couple steps till your feet are a little bit wider than hips width distance apart. And sink your bottom to the floor. Make sure your heels are on the floor. If you have to put a rolled up blanket underneath them, put a rolled up blanket. And now scoot your bottom to the floor. I'm going to scooch sideways so you can see me. Legs straight out in front of you. Inhale, arms up, and fold, exhale over your legs. Make sure that you don't go too far. If you feel any pain, just pull back a little bit. You want sensation, not pain here. Inhale, come back up and spread your legs wide into a seated straddle position, and exhale, go over to your left side. And over to the right side. Make sure your toes are pointed straight to the ceiling, and that both sit bones, your whole bottom is flat on the ground. Make sure neither side of your bottom is lifting off the ground. Now turn and face the left leg and fold over it. Make sure you continue inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Inhale back up. Exhale, fold over your right leg. Make sure your feet are fully flexed and your toes are pointed to the ceiling. And come to the center. You can do like we did before. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, fold deeper at your own pace. Inhaling and exhaling, straightening and folding. Or you can just rest here in a folded position. Walk yourself back up. Bring your feet together so that you're in a butterfly position. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, and exhale, fold over. Roll your shoulders away from your ears and release any tension in your neck. Inhale, walk yourself back up. Cross one knee over the other knee. Inhale to straighten, and exhale, fold over. Inhale to straighten, switch legs, one knee directly on top of the other. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, fold over. Inhale, straighten yourself back up. Come on to your hands and knees in a tabletop position, wrists and knees under your shoulders and hips, and do a couple cat-cow positions, inhaling and exhaling as it feels good. Inhale, drop your belly to the floor, and exhale into a Halloween cat shape. Inhale, belly down, and exhale, push back into another downward facing dog. And find stillness in this dog. Your bottom is as high to the ceiling as you can get it. Lift your right leg and bring your right knee behind your right wrist for a pigeon pose. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, fold over. Make sure your hips are even. You're not leaning to either side. Make sure that your left leg is straight out behind you and that your ankle is straight. If it's difficult to touch the floor, you can stack your fists one on top of the other and rest your forehead on top of your fists, or you can put a few blocks here and gently walk yourself back in and step back into a downward facing dog. Notice how your hips feel now. If you feel any difference, make any little movements or adjustments that feel good, and inhale, left leg rises all the way to the ceiling, and bring your knee back behind your left wrist for your pigeon on the other side. Inhale, arch your back, and exhale, fold forward. Again, make sure that this side has whatever it needs. Make sure your hips are in line with each other and that your right leg is straightened. And if your forehead cannot touch the floor, put a block under it or stack your fists one on top of the other. And push back into downward facing dog. You can walk your heels here again and come back down tabletop position. Swing your legs out in front of you and roll onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest. You can grab your knees and you can rock your knees in and out away from you to massage your lower back. And now bring your feet in, grab hold of your feet for happy baby. If you want, you can straighten one leg and then the other, both legs. You can wiggle your hips, any little movements that feel really good here. Anything that feels necessary. Wiggle your hips, find stillness, flex your feet. Make sure you continue breathing here. Slowly let go of your feet. Bring your knees in one more time and gently straighten one leg and then the other. Put your arms out to your sides. Close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose for Shavasana. Notice how you feel after you've done this practice. Does anything feel different? Does anything feel more open? Do you feel lighter? How do your hips feel? How do your ankles feel? Are you breathing deeper? Do you notice anything different about your breath than when you started this practice? Is there anything you can be thankful for after doing this practice, after doing your martial arts class? Slowly wiggle your hands, your feet, your toes, and straighten your arms and lengthen them away from your legs. Roll over to one side and gently start to sit up. You can bring your hands to the front of your chest. Thank you so much for taking this class with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.